What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So no jokes today because there's nothing really to laugh about. This was embarrassing as hell. And we're just going to go ahead and skip over the referees because, of course, Klopp has been loved by the FA for a long time. So no big shock is after he announces his, leaving Liverpool, that suddenly they start getting even more favorable calls from VAR. No shock there whatsoever. But yeah, quickly to sum up, definitely a penalty for Gallagher. Definitely not a penalty for Jota. And most of those fouls that he was given were very soft going one way, but not soft the other. So it was pretty standard bias toward Liverpool refereeing, I would say. But no, clearly we need to talk about the issue, which is, of course, Pochettino needs to go. I have defended him. Not really defended him, but I've given him the benefit of the doubt. If you've watched my videos so far, I am not the type to look at some of the performances, some of the results we've put in this season. I'm not the type to look at those, the Middlesbrough result, the Newcastle result, Middlesbrough first leg, by the way, just in case you're questioning if I was really upset about the 6-1 victory. But some of the performances, the Man U loss, when they were at the lowest of their form, and we put in the worst display I think I've seen from us all season, I'm not the type to sit here and go, oh, no, just give the coach some time. Just give him some time. But the thing about it is I'm looking at the team that he has. I'm looking at the players that Bowley has brought in that have absolutely screwed this club over. And I'm saying, you know what? He does have a little bit of a hindrance right now. There's some players that would be playing if they didn't keep getting injured. But, of course, that might be a situation of maybe we brought in a player that is just prone to injury, or it might be a situation where a physio team is bad. Either way, Bowley's at fault somehow. But I'm looking at that, I'm saying, you know what? Let's give Pochettino some time, get in some better players, some players that are more readily available. Maybe we'll do something. This is the first time that I'm going, no. He's not the coach we need. He's not the manager we need. And it comes down to two very simple things that easily could have prevented this from being an embarrassing game today. One of which I've already talked about. Because you didn't score away at Middlesbrough playing Palmer at a false 9. You didn't score at home against Villa playing Palmer as a false 9. So why did we try it again? I could get really mad, but the problem is I've already really messed up my throat screaming at the TV throughout most of that first half because of the dumb-ass decisions that Pochettino made. That's one. That is one that there's no defending that. There's no saying, oh, no. Pochettino, he's just trying. No. You have 2 games to prove to you why that does not work. Both of them against lower opposition than Liverpool. One is in a whole nother league below us. The other one is, they're near the top of the league, but they've been falling off recently, and we're at home, where we've been pretty dominant. Now you're going away to Liverpool. And you really think, let's try this one more time. And we registered 1 shot in the first half with that. There you go. Do you need any more proof? Seriously, you have 2 games of proof why that doesn't work. You really need a third one? I'm shocked. And that is what, I'm looking at that going, you know what? Pochettino's not a good manager. Tactically, he's not a good manager. If he's really trying this again, he's just as bad as Tuchel and Potter, because they both did the same exact damn thing with Havertz. Tuchel tried him 1 time as false 9. It was against a terrible Palace. Defensively, they were woeful on the day. We scored 4 goals. So he tried it again. It didn't work. He tried it again. Didn't work. 10 times later, I'm sitting there going, hey, Tuchel, it worked 1 time. Stop trying it. And then Potter came in the next season and tried the same thing. And granted, he didn't have a whole lot up top because, Bowley. But still, it wasn't working. Why did you keep trying it? Pochettino, 2 clear examples. It doesn't work. Why are you still trying it? And then the second mistake today that is just, I don't know how to defend because you ripped 3 players off at halftime. Why was Badiashile not one of them? Because then he goes and costs you 2 goals in the second half. 2 goals that if you hadn't given them up, could have been a game. I mean, Nkuku comes up with a great goal. If it's still 2-0 at that point, well, now there's a little bit of pressure. Now we start to flow a little bit more. And then even after it's 3-1, even after that, okay, keep the pressure on. Maybe if we get the second goal. Nope, Badiashiel's got to give up the fourth goal. And he still didn't come off. After all that time, all I'm thinking is, okay, so the first half he wasn't good, but I guess he wasn't dreadful enough to come off at halftime. But then he gives up the third one with some terrible defending against a kid who's, on his second game in the Premier League? Terrible defending there. Lets him have an easy free cross to score the third goal. And then the fourth one is just no awareness. Zero awareness. And again, I've tried to defend Badiashile from last season. I tried to say, look, last season he was pretty good. Maybe he's just struggling with some injuries. No, he's terrible. He's awful. He's proven it multiple games now. It has not just been, he's had a few bad games. No, this has been ever since he's come back from injury and he's been readily available. Every single game he's played, he has been one of our worst players on the pitch. So why is he still out there? You can say numbers. We have Gilchrist on the bench. We have Gusto on the bench. Why are they not playing with Silva and Disasi in the center? Why are those not our fullbacks? Somebody want to explain that one to me? When Badiashile gives up that third goal by letting in the easy cross, why is Gilchrist not coming on for him and pushing Gusto over to the left? Why is that not the option instantly? Instead, no, you leave him on the field. He gives up another goal. You leave him on the field. He's constantly giving away the ball. He's constantly getting beat for pace. He looks slow. He looks lazy. There's no excuse to keep him out there. So for me, Pochettino, I want him gone now. Again, benefit of the doubt, the Middlesbrough loss put me on the fence about whether I wanted him here or not, and then he kind of pushed me back onto, okay, let's give him some time. Couple of decent games. The Aston Villa one's a little shaky, and now we get to this one, and this is just, it's embarrassing. You know, coming into this game, you got to be at your best. You need to put out your best lineup against Liverpool at Anfield with Klopp leaving. You know, first of all, the players are going to feel rallied. You know the referees are probably going to be biased toward Liverpool. You know it's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? A raucous atmosphere. You know it's going to be difficult. And yet you put out this crap lineup with a false nine Palmer, who we've seen does not work well. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked, and you keep trying it. And then you've got Badiashile in the back line again. And then when that doesn't work, you keep him in there, and you keep him in there, and you keep him in there, and he gives up goals. There's no defending him anymore. There's no saying, it's just the players that he has. He just needs more time. He just needs better play. No, he has better players. Gilchrist is a better player than Badiashile, and he's still sitting on the bench for the whole game. So there's no defending that. Again, we have Broya. We have Nkuku. So you can't say, he just doesn't have a better... No, he's got two strikers on the bench. He's got Washington on the bench. I know he's not great. I know he's a kid. I know Broya's not great. I know he's struggling right now. I know Nkuku's just returning from injury. It doesn't matter. You cannot put your best player out of position and completely handicap like you did 2 times already. But he did. So that shows he can't do it. Even if you give him better players, he's still going to make stupid decisions like that. So who cares? Don't go get him better players because he's going to waste them too. So yeah, Pochettino needs to be gone. We need to find a coach who actually has a brain, who can actually think and try to make clever decisions, who can work with the awful players that Bowley has here and at least make respectable decisions. But this is the third coach now that we've had come in under Bowley who... Yeah, we don't have great players. Yeah, Bowley is an idiot the way he's doing his transfers now, the way we're buying all these young players and hoping they'll be good. All of that is really dumb. We still should be competitive. We still should at least be, fighting for a lower Europa League spot. Being competitive against some of the top teams. Probably not beating Liverpool at Anfield, but at least giving them a fight. We didn't do that today. It was all Liverpool. They were running over us. And again, it's Pochettino's tactics and his decision-making. So anyways, off of Pochettino, Petrovic, he kept us in the game longer than we really should have been. Made some great saves to start it off. So on the 4 goals, are there some that maybe he could have done a bit better on? Yeah. but I think they had like, I don't even know. I want to say like 10 shots on goal maybe, and they scored 4 of those. I mean, that's over 50% save percentage. That's probably better than what Sanchez would have done, if I'm being honest. And also, Sanchez probably would have assisted a couple of goals for them as well. So, yeah, I see no reason, because I know Sanchez is back in training now. I see no reason why, after everything we've seen from Petrovic, there's no reason he should not be our number one. They're, I think they're pretty close in shot stopping. I think Petrovic is a little bit better there, though. But the main thing is just he's not awful with his feet like Sanchez is. And we use his feet a lot. Even whenever we're 3-0 down, we continue to pass around in the back and use our keeper's feet. Again, another weird decision from Pochettino, but hey, at least we got some possession, right? In the right back, starting off was Disasi, and yeah, I mean, he's not great. He's not the worst defender we have, though. Yeah, honestly, again, once he moved into the center, that's when he looked worse, because then he was giving the ball away in dangerous positions, whereas when he does it on the right side, there's help behind him, so it's not quite as dangerous. So yeah, he's a player that he's not really that good, but he's not the worst. He's not Badiashile. In the center, Silva, I mean, still, you can still see those moments when his age is catching up to him. He can't do 2 games, what was it, 4 days apart this time instead of 3, but still, he played full 90 in one game, full 90 in another game, full 90. That's 3 games that he's played full 90 within 8 days, I think. That's still a lot for him. And there were several moments where the pace, he just couldn't keep up with it as well. Badiashile, I mean, already ripped into him. Awful defender, terrible on the ball, terrible tracking, terrible marking, terrible awareness of the game. All of it was just awful today. So I don't want to see him at the club anymore. Chilwell on the left side. It's funny because he wasn't good today either, but it's weird to me that he makes a mistake that leads to the second goal. He gives the ball away. It was awful. And actually, no, he gave the ball away for the first goal, and then on the second one, he gets into a tussle with Jota, and instead of just pulling out of it, he then tries to fall over and claim, "Hey ref, you pulled me down." You're not getting that. We've already seen Gallagher was clearly tripped in the box, and the referee didn't give it. So he's not going to give it for you two tussling and then you falling over. That's not going to happen. So stay on your feet. Go out and mark the kid so he doesn't score his first goal ever on his second performance. God, that kid is going to feel like he is the best thing in the world, and then he's going to play the next match and be like, "Oh, not every team plays like Chelsea. Oh, crap, this is a lot tougher." But no, I mean, Chilwell, he wasn't good today. He wasn't terrible. He was bad. He was in that kind of, here's average, here's Badiashile. He was somewhere in here. And so he makes a couple mistakes, leads to goals, and he gets yanked off at halftime. Badiashile makes a couple mistakes that lead to goals. He's still there. I wonder how that works. Pochettino, you want to explain your reasoning there? I don't think you will. In the midfield, Caicedo, I mean, looked well off the pace again. I still don't understand how people think that ball winning is his forte. Whenever people talk about, Fernandez is the distributor, Caicedo is the ball winner. He's the one that wins it back for you. He's your Conte. I don't know what anybody sees that convinces them of that, but no, he's not even close to that. He's so slow. Again, this Bradley kid, he's going to feel like he is the man. But again, he's up against guys like Chilwell, who's clearly not back fully from his injury, Badiashile, who is worthless, and then Caicedo, who is slow as a snail. I mean, all he had to do was just cut it inside, and Caicedo's like, "Oh, lunge out a leg, and maybe I'll trip him." It's just terrible. So yeah, Caicedo, I've said it before, I've said it again, he's not worth what we paid for him, and he's not even anywhere close. This was not his worst performance of the season, but it was one of probably bottom 5 performances, because he was well beaten through most of the match. Fernandez, I mean, he looks better when he's on the ball more often, so we hardly kept possession today. And most of the time it was our defense keeping possession and then booting it down the field to one of their defenders, because we just like to pass. Oh crap, I got to get it away. Kick it out. And then they come right back at us. So in those games, I mean, Fernandez isn't going to look as good, because his quality is when he's on the ball. So I just don't think this was a good game for him, but I don't necessarily think it's fully his fault. I do think there are some things he could have done a bit better. There were a couple times when he was looking a bit more negative with his passes, but I mean overall it's definitely I don't think much of the blame lands on Fernandez. There were players like Caicedo, Badiashile, Chilwell, Disasi. I mean, those players are the ones I feel bear the brunt of the blame. Another one that I think bears some of the blame, from as far as the front men are concerned, is Madueke. I mean, I've talked about it before. He's one of those players that he likes to try stuff, and there are games whenever that's useful. You know, the games whenever the other team is just packed it in. We can't play around them. There's so little space to pass, and so sometimes a player like Madueke, he's willing to take a shot. He's willing to take somebody on, try something a little clever, and sometimes it works out and it looks great. And you're like, hey, I'm glad we have a creative, aggressive player like Madueke. But then there are games like today, whenever we're hardly keeping possession at all. We're pinned in, we're trying to get out, and then this dumbass keeps trying to take on 2 or 3 players and losing the ball, and it keeps coming right back at us. Those are the games whenever I want to go over there and wring his neck. Because how many times do you have to try that before eventually you go, you know what? Maybe I'm not good enough to take on Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk at the same time. And sometimes you have McAllister coming back too and defending as well. Maybe I'm not good enough to take on 2 or 3 Liverpool players. So maybe I should stop and actually look for a pass. You know, at least 2 out of 3 times. But no, he looks for a pass like 1 out of 10, and then the other 9 times it's right back at us because Liverpool had poked it off of him. He's gone flying to the ground, and we're under pressure again. So yeah, this was one of those games where I feel like this is why you don't want a player like Madueke on the pitch. This is one of the big examples as to why. Gallagher in the center, not much. And again, I don't think this is a game for him either. You know, this is a game where they're not going to be keeping a lot of possession in their back line. Maybe if we were doing a better job of not trying to play out of the back and just booting it downfield, maybe then Gallagher would be a bit more effective. But the way we're playing, we're giving the ball away in our defensive to mid-third, somewhere in there. Gallagher is at his best whenever the other team is keeping possession in the backfield and he's putting pressure up there. Those are his best moments. We were hardly in their attacking third, or their defensive third, hardly at all. So Gallagher wasn't going to be doing much today, and he didn't. You know, he had his one moment where he got tripped by Van Dijk, should have won a penalty. Obviously, Tierney's, helping out Liverpool. But outside of that, he didn't really do much of anything. He was just sort of running around out there trying to win the ball back, but he's 2 steps off the pace because he's not the quickest, and Liverpool had a lot of quickness in that midfield. So, yeah, this was not a game for him at all. Sterling, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch, but he didn't really help us. It just kind of felt like he was out there, and occasionally he'd pop up and you think, okay, maybe he can do something, and then he'd disappear for about 10 minutes. And then he'd pop up again and, make a good run down the line or look a little bit dangerous, and then he'd disappear again. So it was one of those, he wasn't terrible today. I didn't hate him like I hated some of the guys, but nothing really to help the team. And I feel like he has those games more often than not these days. So that's more my frustration, is that it's kind of a consistent thing. Palmer, again, he's not a false 9. And today shows another example as to why. We've tried it with a team that was below us in quality. We've tried it with a team that I would say probably matches us in quality with Villa. And now we've tried it with a team that has better quality than we do. And he's not been effective in any of them. He was slightly effective at getting on the ball and getting chances in the other 2 matches. Today, what did he do? Can anybody tell me what he did today? Because I can think of 2 moments that stand out. One was the ball in behind to Sterling that was a little overhit in like the 2nd minute. It was a good idea. Nothing came of it. And then I can think of one moment where he megged a guy. And then he dribbled and then played it out to, I think, Mudryk at the time. Of course, that was when he was playing as a 10. But yeah, did he do anything today? Probably not. So I stand by my point. And if Pochettino tries him as a false nine again, surely somebody will finally be like, hey, Poch, why don't we stop doing that? Why don't we stop trying that? Why don't we give that a break and try stuff that has worked in the past, not stuff that hasn't worked in the past? Why don't we try that? As far as the subs that came on, I mean, Mudryk came on. That I forgot to mention, that was another thing from Pochettino that I'm just like, okay, so you brought on Mudryk against Villa as an option to try to win you the game. I laughed about it at the time because it was kind of a funny joke. This is just embarrassing. You're 2-0 down at halftime, and you put him on the field, hoping he's going to give you something. Now, granted, again, I know Madueke wasn't giving us anything today. But Mudryk? The guy who couldn't do anything against Villa? The guy who you yanked at halftime against, who was it? Oh, what game was that? Was that Fulham? I mean, the guy gives you nothing. No, wait, that might have been Middlesbrough. Actually, I don't even remember. The guy gives you nothing, though. He's worthless. He is worthless. He's shown it so many times. And yet, he's the guy you turn to? You know what the better option would have been? Take off Madueke, put on Broja or Nkuku, whoever you want to, slide Gallagher out to the wing, let him be a busybody up and down the line, and then you got your striker, you got Palmer sitting in behind. There you go. But you bring on Mudryk, who's going to be just as ineffective as Madueke, and sure enough, he was. Ball comes over, wide open opportunity. All he's got to do is beat the keeper, and he skies it. Sterling's running down the field. He's got Nkuku ahead of him, who's drawing 2 defenders to him. Mudryk has all this space out wide, but then he runs inside, right to the fullback. So now, Sterling's only option is to either try to give it to him with the defender on, or try to give it to Nkuku with the defender on. If you stay out wide, Sterling gives it to you. Now you've got space. You draw that defender out there. You take it down the line. I mean, sure, he probably would have lost it because Bradley, again, has it easy against Mudryk, who should be just blazing past him with pace, but instead would probably try to take him on with his skill moves. Just stupid runs. He's not good enough on the ball. There's nothing from him. Why are you bringing him on? What did you expect? Because I saw exactly what I expected when he came on at halftime. So, I don't know. I don't know what else Mudryk has to do to convince Pochettino, hey, stop turning to him for help. Because he's not doing anything. The best you can hope for is to bring him in a game whenever we're already like 2 or 3-0 up. Maybe then, with the other team stepping out, maybe then he would have enough space in behind to actually be effective, maybe get some confidence and start to be a little bit more effective off of that. But to keep bringing him in these games where the other team's packing it in, or a game whenever we're clearly well off of it, it's pointless. You're not going to get anything from him. So stop trying. Okay, Gusto came on. I mean, I didn't really remember much from him. He didn't do anything terrible, but nothing really effective either. And Nkuku came on, and obviously he got himself the goal. He looks quality. Obviously, I think once we see more of him, I think we'll realize what we've been lacking not having him on the pitch. But, I mean, hell, how long is he going to stay fit? Because he already came back once before and then was injured after 3 games. We didn't even really get to see him. We got to see cameo appearances, and then all of a sudden he's hurt again. So, yeah, I'm not sitting here going, oh, I can't wait to see more, because I'm thinking hopefully we'll get to see at least 2 more appearances before he's hurt. Chukwuemeka came on as a sub into the half, and at that point, that was one of those moments where I'm just, again, thinking Gilchrist should be on for Badiashile. But yeah, he comes on. It looks fine. I think he's pretty effective. Honestly, he could have come on for Madueke at halftime instead of Mudryk, because I think he's a better option than Mudryk. So I think he's got some quality, some promise to him. Hopefully he can get some more game time in and get ahead of some of these guys like Caicedo and Madueke and Mudryk and Sterling, and actually show them what quality looks like. And then the last one was Cassidy, or however you pronounce it, Cassidy. I don't know. I don't care. At that point, I saw him coming on, and I saw Palmer going off, and I'm just like, all right, well, I guess we're done. It is throwing in the towel. Let's just put in this young guy that just came back. Let's see if he can, get himself sent off, because he's already done that a couple times for the youth squad before. Yeah, pointless. So, all that being said, I mean, nothing else I can really say. I think this kind of confirms, though, we're not winning the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. I mean, they're going to run over us again, more than likely, unless we get some of these first teamers back. Maybe Pochettino finally decides, hey, maybe let's not do Palmer again as a false nine. Let's try to use somebody else up there, or actually put his striker up there. And maybe next time that will work. Maybe we won't see Badiashile anymore after this. I don't know. Unless he changes some stuff, we're going to get run over in the Carabao Cup final. Clearly on the road, I mean, this is 6 losses out of 7 in recent times, so we're going to go away to Villa in the FA Cup replay. We're going to lose there. And, I mean, we're going to lose probably half of our matches, because anytime we go on the road, I'm expecting to lose. Anytime we're at home, 50-50. Sometimes we'll play well, win. Sometimes we won't play well and draw or lose. But on the road, I mean, I'm not expecting anything from us anymore, because this kind of confirmed. Because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm looking at our recent performances. I'm looking at 5 losses out of 6, one of which, again, to Middlesbrough. And I'm thinking, going into Anfield, there's got to be some change, right? We can't just go here and, screw around. We can't. We have to. Somebody has to look at that and see, hey, we've got to be better on the road, right? Somebody's got to make that decision. Somebody's got to go in, get in Poch's ear, get in the player's ear, something, and go, hey, let's be spoilers. Let's be spoilers of the mood. Let's go in there. Klopp has announced he's leaving at the end of the year. Let's go in there. They want to party. They want to have like a send-off for him. Let's ruin that for them. No. Everybody went out there and they're just like, oh gosh, this is really rough, man. I don't know if I can play like this, man. And then just roll over and let Liverpool steam over us. It's yeah. I mean, again, I wasn't expecting too much from Bowley, because he's clearly not shown he knows how to run a football club at all. But at the same time, with Pochettino, there was still that kind of feeling of, I have some hope. I have some feeling that maybe he'll get some ideas. He seems to be more competent than Potter was, and definitely more competent than Frank. So maybe we'll see some progress this year. Maybe we'll see some steps forward. And it just, every time I kind of start to feel like, we have those 2 decent performances. We don't play well, but still manage to draw against Villa. Okay, maybe going into Anfield, maybe we'll start to see some steps in the right direction. And then it's just, I think most of this season has been 2 or 3 steps forward and then 6 steps back. Every time. Every time we start to make some progress, every time people are like, oh, are Chelsea turning a corner? The very next game, no, they're not. They're back to where they were. And then they'll take some steps forward, Are they turning a corner? No. That's going to be our season. We're going to end up probably 10th or 9th place, more than likely. We had a chance to go, 8th or 7th today? Put some pressure on the teams above us? No. We're happy staying mid-table, I guess. We didn't really look like we wanted to move up at all today. So, yeah, Pochettino out, Bowley out. I'm done. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game today? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.